Hello, how are you today? Welcome to our Asia Community Singapore September meetup. Okay, so my name is Chun Lin. On last weekend, I traveled to Marina Bay Sands there. Then I look at the old Microsoft building, and suddenly I feel sad because it has been a while. We never meet in person. It's kind of sad that now we have to talk to each other through laptop, through mobile. So I really miss to have this kind of group event again. Then we take a group photo together. Hopefully one day this COVID will be over and we can gather again. Okay. So again, I'm Chun Lin. Thanks for joining us tonight. Together with Riza, Marvin, and Priyanka, four of us are managing this community. So we normally host a meetup in either here or our neighbor, which is Singapore.NET Developers Community. So both communities are run by the same group of people. So kindly leave us a message on our meetup page if you have any feedback or you would like to join us as speakers or even help us to run this community. Yeah, as I shared just now, it's better to run this kind of sharing session together as a community, then we learn from each other. So actually this morning I talked to Riza, then it say, what would you like to be when you are in the later stage of your career? What is your goal? So I think learning from each other is one of the career goal why I choose as a software developer, because there are so many things to learn, and it's impossible for one person to learn everything. So I'm glad that we have this platform in Singapore that we can come together, learn together, even in this kind of tough situation. So I really encourage you all, if you have any interesting to share. Some actually approach me and ask, but I do not know what topic I can share. Maybe I give you some example. So for example, you are learning UWP and you come out, realize that you can do some cool games using UWP, for example. Just a simple game. No one asks you to build a walk-up tree using UWP. So that is not needed in the meetup. But if you can do something cool and useful, not necessarily useful, but actually fun for other people to learn, I think we are all welcome to kind of topics. So tonight we are very happy to have our web friend here, our co-organizer and also Microsoft MVP in Singapore, Marvin Heng, to join us as our speaker tonight. So he will talk about two topics today, which is Azure AI and designing apps for better accessibility. So I think this topic will be very interesting tonight. So without further ado, Marvin, I pass the mic to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chun Lin.
Yeah, I can see your screen. Wait, I can't see your slide yet.
You can't see, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, your slide.
All right. Okay. Welcome everyone. So thanks for joining us for today's sessions, and I hope everyone is doing fine. I think we have been in the circuit breaker for about 6 months since then. So it has been half a year we didn't meet to each other physically. So I hope that this meetup will actually have been done online for the past 6 months. So I hope it can it actually bring more benefits to larger crowd. So I hope everyone is doing fine basically. So without further ado, let me start my session. All right. So, okay. So first of all, for those uh, who don't know me, so I'm Marvin. So you can actually find me on I think Twitter, YouTube, Medium. You just Google my this name over here, the username here. It's not username, but it's Elias. So you just find me on Google, and I'm actually one of the writer or the contributor for the Tech Connect IO. So you can actually view our blog as well, right? So today I'm going to give some ideas or some updates on the Azure AI. Especially we have been I think we didn't talk about this for more than 6 months, I guess, right, Chun Lin? Right. So okay. So and other than this, I found that it's kind of important to actually talk about accessibility. So in the second part, I'm going to give some knowledge. I'm not expert in this, but I do some research, and I've noticed that it's actually kind of important to understand what is I mean the accessibility, right? So all right. So today's agenda will be uh, what is new about Azure AI, and why is it so important to look at the app accessibilities, and lastly, definitely I'm going to give some ideas about AI plus app accessibility. So all right, so Azure AI, people have been talking about building mission critical AI applications, which is artificial intelligence applications with the cognitive services capability. So today, I think compared to the 2 years or 3 years ago when we first heard about cognitive service, I think in 2016, when it was in beta versions, the SDK, the entire SDK was in beta in I think 2015 or 16. And slowly we get to know more about cognitive service, and we know that Microsoft offers a larger product catalog since then, right? And so today I'm going to give about first talk about the latest updates on Azure AI. All right. So I think over here I should actually rename it. It's actually Azure AI now. They rebrand it, and this is the entire the scope of AI services that Microsoft actually offers through Azure. So we can I think it I think the architecture here doesn't change really much, but what it changed is actually the features and the product catalogs in each of the categories, right? So as usual, I think my interest in my Azure AI is actually more on this side, which is we call it Azure AI services, and probably some of the tools that we are going to use in AI tools, right? And I do some, while we are using AI services, we do need some of the AI infrastructure services also, right? Okay, so for Azure AI, is actually emphasizing on intelligent cloud as the core, and at the boundaries there is actually about intelligent edge, right? So that means those those applications, those services that we see today is actually more on intelligent cloud, and through intelligent edge we actually able to reach out to more devices or more applications. um, so it's actually like making the core stronger. Then after that we building surrounded services through Azure, right? So first of the things that in the past 6 months, I would say the latest updates on Azure AI is on form recognizer. So form recognizer has been entered into 2.0 GA, So and also 2.1 is actually in public preview now, right? So in V 2.0 we actually have many SDKs for different languages, programming languages actually get updated. Then we have some of the table enhancement and extraction enhancement as well. That means the table, I mean the extraction algorithms is now more accurate, and it actually supports more table formats, right? And currency support as well. So previously it doesn't actually recognize currency, but now it can. And we have the Azure government. So that means now form recognizer is considered one of the certified services, right? And we have enhanced security features. So that means you can actually put in your key, and also you have your own private endpoints, right? Okay, and for form recognizer, we have REST API references is available now, and more languages is supported. I think we have been struggled using form recognizer for the since the version 1, because it's quite limited to Latin alphabets, but now it actually supports more languages and more characters now. And checkbox and selection marks detection is also being supported. That means when you put a cross, or you tick it in the box, checkbox, then basically this table I mean the form recognizer can actually recognize. And what is more important one is actually a model compose. So this model compose is actually I would say is like more importance for many people, because now you can actually label your own models. So every time you do the custom training for the form recognizing recognition, so now model compose can actually allows you to actually label what is it about and what is it doing, right? And model name, you can add the name as well. So other than just now the one, so you can actually, I mean, you can add a name of your model, so that you can actually tracking, do some tracking on the versioning, or probably what is the form is about. And also we have a new pre-built models for the business card. So previously can only recognize, if not mistaken, is only I think receipt. And today we are able to actually recognize some of the business card, but it's in English at the moment, right? And new locales is supported for the pre-built receipts now. So you see more languages coming in, and quality improvement for the layouts, and also train custom model, all this, which is we just now we said, right? Okay, so let me give I'm not sure. Let me see. Okay, for those who is new, right? Let me pull out my YouTube. Okay. All right. Okay. So I just do some quick demos. I think I couldn't spend much time on this. Sorry about that. I think we only have about 40 to 1 hour. So let me quickly run through. So basically, we have some demo sessions here. I mean, some demo examples right here. So we have some, what you can see here is actually a table, right? A table that you can actually like train a form, or you can train it with the custom algorithms. So let's say you put in 5 forms, then after that you will extract such key pair value for you. So and today's I think form recognizer have tools that allows you to label, do some custom label as well. Previously it will only allows you to, I mean, to put in 5 files, then after that you will use their own algorithms to actually like uh, I mean to do the field matching or the key matching. But today I think it can actually allows you to do more. So And also what you can see over here, you see this is some of the different types of the form also. So right, and this is table. So you can see it can actually accurately convert the table into JSON format, right? So you can actually use it to extract some of the data out there. Then after that, I think it's more like converting analog to digital, right? Allows you to actually capture some of the data from analog, right? Then this is the receipt. You can see it's quite pretty accurate, I would say. I think we had some sessions earlier, I think last year, if not mistaken, or or earlier of this year. So back then was 1.0, but today we have 2.0. You can actually try out. I think this one is quite limited for you to understand, but you can, yeah, because there is no pre-built business card models. So I think you can play around with the SDK. You just look at it, try to find it on Microsoft website, or else later on I will share the link in the end of the slide, right? Right. Okay. So I just try to give you some ideas because today's topic is not really the main focus on form recognizer. It's about the updates only. So another one will be these OCR tools. So I think yeah. So what you can try it now. Previously we have to code on our own, but I think now we are able to actually create some services on Azure portal. Then after that you just have to configure right here. It will generate a project link for you to keep track, right? I think yeah. So you can just quickly actually like just set up the projects for the services, right? Okay. I try to share more videos about on this later on, right? Okay. So second thing will be custom commands, right? Custom command. Right. For this custom command is kind of interesting. It's actually using some of the speech to text technology or text to yeah, speech to text or neural neutral, I think neutral speech technology. So what it does is actually allows you to actually um, allow us as a developer to create task-oriented voice applications. So some usage could be like I think what we can do is a bit like Alexa or Siri or Cortana. So what you can do is actually like you create your own command. Then after that you just send a signal to some of the devices which in your network, right? Um, Previously what we demo earlier, I think 2 years ago, what I demo is actually using bot, and I was using Louis, which is the language understanding intelligence system. And today we have this command custom commands, right? Okay, and the new thing also for this custom command is for security purpose. That means you can have the role-based access control. Okay. Right, and this is neural text to speech. So today, neural text to speech get some updates. We have 15 natural sound voices based on the state of arts neural speech. All right, so we have more languages supported now. Some of the language I never seen before, right? But it's quite interesting to see how it progressed now. That means more voices is actually being supported, and it can actually produce more natural sound as those people who actually like try out the text to speech of Microsoft cognitive services. I think is I wouldn't say it's 100% like a human, sounds like human, but it's quite close. At least I have some emotion because I do present the demo some of the general public, and they are quite impressed with the sound, because many bot or many voice assistant is actually quite monotone, like sounds like a robot instead of like a human. So Microsoft put in a lot of efforts in emphasizing a natural kind of voices. Okay, and the last one in recent months of the Azure AI updates is text analytics for health. So I think we are not really um, uh, uh, I mean, we are quite familiar with text analytics in general, but this one is quite powerful and it's actually I mean, catch my attention because yeah, because my wife is actually a physiotherapist, and she is actually a health professions. So this topic, I mean, the text analytics for health is really, I would see that it's kind of importance for many doctors of health profession, right? Allied health, like physiotherapists, occupational therapists, who write a lot of patient notes or the doctor notes, right? So so what text analytic for health today can do is actually extract the information from unstructured English language text in the clinical documents, right? So I understand the pains of a lot of people. So when you try to search back the patient notes, it's very hard, and or doctor notes. So what they would do is actually, I mean, these text analytics models is actually consists of I think is trained specially with a lot of healthcare wordings or the vocabs, right? And I will do a short demo later on. Uh, and also text analytic for health container usage is now F4C. That means if you are deploying through containers, it's actually free of charge. And general API updates. So this is kind of for our informations as a developers. So there are more models and also languages, or the some of the words that can be actually detected now. And also I think 2 more languages is supported in sentiment analysis, right? So this is kind of just a graphic that is showing how possible the text analytics could work, right? So basically, what you see here, okay. So it's not a laser. So what we can see here is actually some of the medication dosage and also the medications frequency, how frequent the patient should take specific medicine, and what's the symptoms. It can be also detected uh, by the text analytics, right? Okay. Okay, so let me go to this link. Okay, so what we have here is actually a website, a demo website that is utilizing on this text analytics for health. So what we can see is like stroke. Yep, so we can actually know that what is the similar terms that possible. Okay, give me a second. I think let me mute my phone. Right, so you can actually search through some of the research paper, the journal, all this. So I think this is more like a research paper. Okay, so we can search some of, I think, experience as well. So we can quickly see that it can actually recognize a lot of things now. I probably experienced for I think let me see this. Is it LDL? Don't know. Yeah, so you can see that it quickly identifies some of these terms by the healthcare terms that often being used, like NetPen, probably NetPen. Let's see whether can find or not. Right, NetPen, I'm not sure whether it's accurate enough. But basically you can see it can actually suggest you some of the wording as well, which is related to this topic, which is neck pain, right? Neck pain is kind of related with our joint and also muscle when we have probably stiff shoulders or the stiff neck or this. So it's I think it can actually suggest some of the quite I think pretty accurate things, like fever. So text analytics for health is more like more specifics on healthcare uh, abbreviations and also some of the healthcare terms, right? Okay. Okay, so why is it so important to okay, so that's about what's news about Azure AI, and now is about why is it so important about the app accessibility. So this topic is come into my mind, which I really wanted to do for a long time, but until recently when I read about some of the updates in cognitive service and also some of the articles, then I come up with this topic. I think it's uh, kind of important uh, to keep us in mind as developers to design some of the applications that can actually re- design the apps to reach out to more people, right? Because not everyone as same as us so blessed or so fortunate to have visions or ears, the hearing impairments. I mean the functionalities is kind of I would say is uh, what we have is pretty blessed, but for some minor people is actually minor group of people is actually probably have some unfortunate cases or incident that happens to them that cause them with some disabilities, right? So for your knowledge, according to World Bank in 2000, I think the data was in 2011. Probably nowadays it's more, but we have 1 billion people, which is about 15% of the world populations, have some form of disabilities, right? And disability prevalence is actually higher in developing countries like probably in Southeast Asia, South Asia, or probably some of the African countries or this, um, or some parts of other contingents that have I mean the countries the developing countries in some parts of the other contingents. So right, and what is it 15% of the world population, that means it's about 1 out of 7 person that we meet could have some form of disabilities or some probably some disease with them. And for your knowledge, I actually get to know just now and disability I think depression they actually considered one of the disability also, probably in mental disability. But it's quite interesting to know about that as a general knowledge. But I think yeah, so 1 out of 7 persons we meet is having some form of disabilities. It's quite high, right? And also 1/5 of the estimated global total between 11 million people on 119 million, people is actually experience significant disabilities. That means severe disabilities like probably blinded, uh, deaf, and also probably couldn't speak. So yeah, so often we are proud to actually design beautiful applications, or we emphasizing a lot of user experience for normal people. We emphasize on the UI, but often we forget about this minor, probably minor group of people. But as we can see, 1 out of 7 is actually not really minor, but it's pretty large group also, right? So when we design the applications, we should actually consider this group of people, right? So even the web standards groups, W3C or W3, they actually come out with this initiative on the web accessibility initiative, right? To design the applications, or they set the guideline for developers or the tech geeks, people to actually design applications that is catered for them, especially for them, right? Or in minimal, you should have a functions that probably can read the content to the disabled person, right? And why should we care so much and do something about it? We can simply say it's like just 1 out of 7 is like one out of 7 is what about 6 out of 7? We just focus on the 6 out of 7, but we should often consider about some people that probably have some vision, I mean vision issue. I do experience, I mean, for myself, sorry. So for myself, actually, I couldn't spend a long time to actually read some words or letters for too long time. I think my eyes will get tired nowadays. Uh, Previously, it's not, but I do understand. Sometimes I prefer to hear than reading, right? Because I think we should actually care about this group of people, because I think when we want to reach out to more people, we shouldn't ignore them, right? Especially for those content generator, content applications for informations one. And yeah, so some of the users may not be able to see, hear, move. They might not be able to actually process some types of information easily. So for us, it's kind of like blessed. Some people have color blindness. Then they hardly see the differentiations if we put like green colors things, green red things, which I think some of the color combinations may not be so easily seen by them, right? Right. And they have difficulties in reading or comprehending texts. So it's yeah, and some people may not have the ability to use a keyboard mouse, and they may have only touch screen or small screen or slow connections for some of the countries or the people, right? And some of the people may not speak or understand the language in the document written, right? They may be in the situations where their eyes, ears, hands are busy or interfere. Yeah, so this could be one. And yeah, so user may have your earlier version of browsers or different browsers entirely. Yeah, it could be where some of the poor populations, they couldn't afford to actually upgrade their devices. But I think the most important one would be those blessed group that where they have some form of disabilities. I think that's really important when we design the applications uh, or the websites. Okay, and I get to know there is one day to actually the locket just to actually to remind us as a entire global community or the society. So we live together with these 1 out of 7 people, we live harmoniously, and also we should actually remember them, which is International Day of Disabled Person, right? So this year we is fall on 3rd of December, right? Right. So Lewis Winner is actually said that although there are no laws requiring all apps to be accessible to every single one, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good idea, right? It just depends on what kind of companies you want to be. Do you want to reach out to more people, or you want to reach out to some of the less fortunate groups of people? Or probably we want to actually making them to actually like able to actually access to some form of informations, right? And so W3 Web Accessibility Initiative actually provides some of the guidelines for us to actually consider. So over here is actually provides it says we must provide we should actually, I don't call it must because it's up to our own choice to make as app developers. But if you want to actually improve your accessibility, so make sure your app is actually provides text alternative for non-text content like graphics or videos or music or yeah, some other things, and provide alternative for time-based media, and including contents that can be presented in different ways without losing information. That means when you are horizontal, then you should actually preserve some of the horizontal information, and in vertical you should actually present the content in another way, right? So I think for web, or actually nowadays the SDK or the libraries out there can handle pretty well, so it's fine. And make sure it's easy to see and hear. This is something that is really hard uh, for us to actually do it. Like if we keep calling on the some of the AI technology, then it's expensive for us. But then it I think money is still a minor issue, but the problem is on technical side. How we code every single thing on the UI itself to make it easy for the people to actually see and hear. I think that is really important, and for us to think about it. And permit sufficient time to read and use the content, right? So don't do a lot of animations and flick here and flick there. It's kind of difficult for people to actually read it, right? And it's not designed in a way that is known to cause seizures, right? And include ways to help people to navigate, find contents, and determine. So you can utilize some of the tooltips, or I can see nowadays they have some guidance for users, and include text content that is readable and understandable. Okay, so there is some of the guideline that's set by W3 as a web standards organizations. But of course, even though it's called web accessibility, I think it's applicable for some of the mobile applications also. Right? And okay, so next we will talk about AI plus app accessibility. So how Microsoft can help in this, right? So I have a small little videos for you to actually listen. right? So there is some introduction video for these new services called immersive readers, right? So what immersive readers does is actually to show contents in a minimal reading view. So even though you have a lot of fancies uh, uh, UI, but it can actually like helps you to reading out or detecting all the texts from your content to become a better view of the for some of the disabled person. So it's easy, the font is larger, and also some of the content is actually like by wording, it will highlight by wordings, right? I will demo that later on. And also it can actually display some of the pictures of the commonly used words, right? And it does highlights nouns, verbs, adjective, and verbs, right? So it improve the learning experience of ours. Okay, and it does read contents out loud to you. You can actually configure for auto reading, right? It translates your contents to another language. So let's say if the user is actually more prefer, let's say, Chinese or Malay or Indon, Bahasa Indon, or other languages, or Spanish, all this. So immersive reader can actually do it for you without any coding. I wouldn't say without any coding, but minimal coding, right? And it breaks down words into syllables, so it's easier to actually for some of the people to actually look at it or learn about it. So immersive readers, so we say, such a simple service, but is it really useful for the people with reading? So in fact, this is the proof by some of the RTI groups that this can actually helps people improve their learning experience or their reading ability, the ability, right? Okay, and this is another demo for the Microsoft Immersive Readers by this group. I think the company called Safari Montage. right? So I will do a demo, quick demo for this. Right, so over here I have applications, which is the Angular applications that is created with ASP.NET Core. And what I later I will share the code to you guys. So what I did is actually just added a few lines of things. So what you can see just now is actually like I mean there is a sidebar at the right hand side, all this. But over here I just demo a quick one because I think the fancy thing about this the importance about these immersive readers is actually it allows us as a developers to minimize coding in order to support I mean to improve the accessibility on the application side. So what I did is actually what I did is actually install this called immersive readers SDK, right? So this you can see this application is entirely Angular applications. Well, so I just installed this. Then after that, I add a line on on this, right? So this button is what does this button do is actually to display uh, the trigger for the immersive reader to actually pop up, right? So you can see launch immersive. Then after that, I have the code on here. So over here, okay, so let's go to see the backend first. So in at the API side, I actually write this AI controller. So what does this AI I mean the controller does is actually go to my Azure AD, subscription to retrieve the access token for this specific service, which is the immersive services, right? Then after that it will actually return back to my applications for the token and the subdomain, which um, specify which endpoint should I go for, and also with the specific token for me to access the immersive reader access. I mean the service. Okay. Then after that, just back to here. Okay. Then after that, right? Once the token is returned, then I have this line of code is actually to read my content of the pages, right? Okay, so I have what you can see right here is actually this body content. Okay, I should actually put this button outside, right? But anyway, just a quick one. So basically it will read from here. So for those Angular developers or JavaScript developer, you are quite familiar with this. So basically it gets the entire HTML of specific elements out from the code, right? And for this one, it's actually telling, I mean, to prepare the content, the immersive reader content to tell it, okay, this is my HTML code, and the format is actually in HTML format, right? Then after that, probably I will, let me just comment this first. Okay, then after that, we have this launch async. So the first one is actually taking a token, and this one will be the domain that I have to connect to. Basically, uh, is my subdomain of the service. Then after that, this is the content, and this is the option, right? Okay, let's. Where's my where's my application? Okay, anyway, let me try to pull up. Okay, let me stop and run first. So what you can see over here is actually a simple ASP default templates applications in with Angular frameworks. Angular, I think 6 or 7, I couldn't remember, but basically it's Angular applications, and I have a buttons here. Once I click it, it will actually launch the immersive readers, right? So we can play the sound. Right, so you can actually set the voice speed as well, so you can actually like make it faster, right? So, right, so you can see that it's actually allows you to do a lot of configuration, including text sizes for some of the probably the elderlies or some of the visually impaired people. They can actually like they can actually configure. I mean, to adjust the sizes for them and increases probably increase the spacing and font types, or maybe the some people prefer the contrast, where high contrast is actually more comfortable for them to actually read the content. And some this is the reading mode, where it looks like a book. Okay, so yeah, so what else? Integration, so you can actually hear listen to the pronunciations of the words also, right? So you can see background. I think this is kind of interesting for some of the content that we probably want to reach out to some of the people, right? And this is a syllabus that you can actually turn on, and you can actually put in different colors for different types of the characters, or sorry, the words, whether it's nouns or verbs or adjective, all this. And line focus, so you can actually like see, yeah, so it will actually just jump to the next line and highlight on the next slide. So for some of the people, they actually prefer such kind of usage, right? I mean, some of the capabilities. And worth to mention, actually, we can actually convert to some of the words. I mean, for some of the thing. So you can see it's now in Chinese, right? Original and simplified Chinese. Let's see, this one is working. This is not working. So probably I can, yeah. So, yeah. So you can actually navigate line by line on your own also, right? So this is some of the things that Microsoft offer through the immersive readers. So what you can see, I only code for several lines of things. First, um, install the SDK on Angular side, as well as the API side, and I called the API to actually access the get the token from the services, from Azure services. Then after that, I just actually have to launch the apps, uh, to launch the immersive readers, right? So there are some configuration also. What you can do is actually like you pre-configured. So let's say you have some database to store the configurations, the prefer user preference. Then after that, you just have to actually put in here before you launch the immersive reader, right? So you can see I actually like, yeah. So what I did is actually set the autoplay true. That means when immersive reader is started, then it will actually autoplay, right? So I can set let's say back to 0.5 mil, right? So you can see it actually reflects straight away, right? I just stop it, right? And you can actually, often we store user language preference also. That means we can actually set the translation options. So whether it's auto translate into different languages. Okay. So over here we have English formats, and now we just actually have to run it. Then you will see it's actually in French, automatically in French. Impressive one is actually it can actually just not only translate the UI, but also it translate the speech, text to speech also, right? I'm not French speaker, so I don't know whether it's accurate. But yeah, so basically it's I think it's pretty great. What we can see is actually pretty good. So with just simple plugin or yeah some line of codes, then you can do a lot of improvement on your application accessibility. So I think it's worth to actually invest some of the times to, if you are the app developers, to study about these immersive readers, especially for those developers or business users who actually do a lot of content generations, because with this I think it can actually helps to read out the content to the users, to your visitors of the website or the users of the applications, right? Okay. And right, so okay, so what's news about immersive readers? So oh, this one I think I copied wrongly. Right, so there are a lot of companies actually using these immersive readers already, and yeah, I think a lot of these companies is actually educations, from education side. So I think if you if you can actually do put in these features in your applications, I think it will definitely helps people, your users, to actually learn about your application. And before I end the session, I think I would like to share some of the things that you may be interested in. So this is some of the links are here. W3C for Web Accessibility Initiative, and I think this is World Bank about the disability populations. And I actually found these articles, which is pretty comprehensive to for us to actually, oops, sorry. For us to actually read about if you are interested in this app accessibility or the accessibility of the web applications, right? So you can actually spend the time to read about this. I will share the slide later on, so you don't have to worry. And this is form recognizers. Some informations about form recognizers. So, and also how you can quick start an application that is utilizing form recognizing features. And on form recognizer or CR testing tools, you can actually like use this, or else you can actually like um, just fork the source code from the GitHub. Right, and these are all about immersive readers. So I think immersive readers is kind of interesting technologies that you can actually learn about, right? And my code is actually available on my so-called AI labs. So there are not only just immersive readers, but I think there is a form recognizer also, some applications or the sample applications that you can actually see or look through how it works at the first place if you are new to Microsoft or the Azure AI, right? And thank you so much. This I think that's all for my session today, right? So do follow me on Twitter, Medium, or YouTube, right? Just look at this, use the allies, right? And Chun Lin, I pass the stage to you.
Okay, thank you, Marvin. Hold on.
Right. Yeah.
See, there are two questions. Because later
Oh.
I'm going to cut out the first part of the video.
Okay.
So the chat will disappear. So let me read the question.
All right.
It's from Alice. Yeah, our strongest supporter.
Okay.
So for the form recognizer, if we use it in commercial,
how should we handle
the errors?
the errors? As in what kind of errors? Is it not really accurate yeah. So what we can do is actually, I think, just like to share about. Let me see if I can find information for you. I think it's good question, because earlier on, what holding us back of using this form recognizer is actually because we can't manipulate the result of the detected wordings or the key. So now they have this form recognizer labeling tools. I think, let me see. Yeah, so what you can do now is actually train with labels. If you yeah, I think I did put in my slide. Is here, right? So it's actually a label tools that you can actually making use of. So that means if the result is not so not really favoring you, or not something that you expected to have, so you can actually do it with this sample labeling tools. It's actually available on GitHub as well, if not mistaken. Let me see if I have one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, so you can actually do use this. I think they have another one. Let me see. I remember they have another one, form recognizer labeling tools. Is it the same one? I couldn't remember. I think the same one. Yeah. Yeah. So you can actually making use of this. So you can train the model again. So basically, it allows you to actually provide some sort of feedbacks on the detected words that you actually identify as not accurate. Then you can actually do it, right? And I think there is another questions. I'm not sure Alice is still there or not. Yeah. Another question is what?
Can we rely on Microsoft
MS
Edge?
immersive reader. Yes, definitely you can. Actually, it's actually the same technology, I would say. So basically, what you mean is this one, right? So it's actually the same technology. So Microsoft actually incorporate it into the feature into this browser already. So definitely you can do it. But let's say if you have your own applications, I would suggest, I mean those native applications, then I would suggest you to actually incorporate the feature into your native applications. For web browser, let's say this one is Edge, but let's say do I have Chrome here? I remember I have. Let's say Safari, right? Safari don't have this, right? So we we can't actually force everyone to use Microsoft Edge, right? But what we can, I mean, the application itself is actually, I mean, is in our control, but the browser feature is not, right? You see, even this one also break. Yeah, we found a bug. Okay, so let's see whether it loads or not. It loads. Okay, so immersive reader is basically just an iframe. So it can actually just pop out and launch the iframes within your application. So I think uh, the immersive reader feature is although it's on Edge, but I would recommend you to implement on your own, because we can't control every single user to use specific browser, I would say, right? I would recommend that. Is there any other questions?
There's no more.
No more, right? Yeah.
So
So yep. And do you have any announcement? Or else I think Eng Soon did talk about this hackathon.
so you want
Okay.
to talk? Okay, you talk first.
Yeah, I actually I don't have. Yeah, basically it's an annual event for people to actually do some to encourage people to actually contribute into open source community. So what you have to do is just try to find some code that you always I mean some of the code that you found on GitHub, and you find something that you can actually help to fix or help to improve. So you just actually do a pull request to the specific owner. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
I think Angsun is planning an event next
right?
month.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he will guide you all through for those who are interested in Oktoberfest.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do stay tuned. I think Chun Lin will make more announcement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tentatively is on Saturday, 10 of October. 10/10, so it's very easy to remember.
10/10.
Yeah.
People care about 10/10 sales only, is it?
Yeah, so they do sales, so we do quotes.
Is it a weekday?
It's a weekend. Because
Weekend.
there's a secret.
Okay.
Soon is going to invite a lot of speakers.
Great. All right.
Hopefully it happens.
Okay. That's great. So do stay tuned about this Hacktober Fest events. And yeah, and I think other group of the meetup also have some events coming up, which is I think from AI meetup also. So I think just stay tuned from some of the events from us.
Speaking of AI, actually,
Yeah.
just now in your presentation, I noticed there's a subtitle.
Subtitle. I think earlier, right?
Yeah.
It's just this feature actually. I forgot to turn it on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So previously, I think Microsoft put it somewhere. It's kind of hard to find. It
So
was
it's
in. It's not Skype, but it's here. It was here. Slideshow. Then here. I think they improve it. So they just put a button right here, so you can turn it on and off. It's quite cool, I think.
Yeah, great tip. Thanks.
Yeah.
So let me take this chance to thanks everyone for staying late with us.
Yep.
Especially Alice, Engsun, and Makali. Hey, good evening. Sorry, I was looking at the screen, so I can't type and reply you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, do stay safe, everyone. And I hope today's session is informative to you guys, right?
Yep, definitely.
Right. Yeah. So stay safe and take care.
I forgot.
Yeah.
There's a meetup of our ACS, I think.
ACS.
It's on 1st of October.
You want to?
I haven't
share a
announced
screen?
it.
Oh, you haven't announced it. Okay.
Yeah. It will be done by Eng Tiong. Eng Tiong is back.
Probably we can do some survey if you guys actually like these sessions. I mean this type of one meetup, one sessions, and one specific topics, or you like very short kind of I mean like 30 to 40 minutes kind of session, or you prefer 2 hour sessions like previous physical session.
Yeah.
So you can actually drop us in the meetup discussion area. So you just let us know, or you text either Chun Lin or me in through meetup. You let us know what is your preference. Whether you like the short sessions or you prefer the longer sessions, and whether you prefer weekend, which day, or you prefer weekend session. Yeah. So you just let us know. I hope that it become a more two ways of communications or interactions between the organizer and the audience.
Yeah, what Marvin says correct.
Yeah. So we we hope to learn from you guys also lah. So if you have any small little topics that you want to share, just tell us. Then we would definitely welcome you to become one of the people, the speaker who shared about this. I mean, share about your topics.
And you not necessarily need to be in Singapore.
Yeah.
Any country is welcome.
Yeah. We go global now, right? Through virtual. Yeah. So, yep.
Okay, thank you, Marvin.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let me go to the slide ending. Okay, so thanks everyone for staying late with us.
Hey, you want to share your
And
screen?
no, it's a sharing because I'm using the OBS Studio.
Okay.
So on YouTube, you will see this. Thank you. And as a community, let us encourage you all once again. Try Azure. See you in October. Bye bye.
Bye.